this audio stuff from the back porch. I brought this laptop that I got so I can get some echo on the voice. I think it's working okay. Hear everything. Let me know if you can hear me okay. What's going on, Vision? What's going on, Dee? What's up, Mr. Rojo Go? What's up, Sabian Geometry? Evening. Got a little clear sky right now. Moon setting with Jupiter and Venus ahead of it. Got Saturn and Mars up as well, but I saw them last night and I felt like they were looking much smaller, and then I checked out, did a lot of research last night, and it seems like, yeah, Mars is looking tiny for everybody. And I don't know, we'll see. The moon's looking quite good. 31% illuminated, coming down at 28 degrees altitude, 8:52 p.m. What's going on, Andrew Johnson? How you doing? Ellie, how's it going? Hope you had a great birthday yesterday. I don't know what happens. I guess when I go live, the latency picks up pretty hard. So it's kind of delayed as I'm playing through one computer and then monitoring it through this one. So I just said, what's up, Ellie? I said, hope you had a good birthday yesterday. Am I totally too quiet compared to the guitar? I guess I need to speak right up to the microphone. Microphone check, check. What's up there, Christian Nation? How's it going? What's up, Easy E? How you doing? Just got the waxing crescent moon, 31% illuminated. Got Jupiter setting in front of the moon. And I feel like I'm really low, but whatever. I'll keep going. Do a little bit of zoomage. I got the moon atlas up. Just getting some wide shot footage right now. Just warming up a little bit here, y'all. Haven't played all day, so I'm kind of a little bit rusty, a little sticky. Hey, thanks Jim Jones, Christian Nation. That's very nice of you to say. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. So glad this week is finally sort of over. It's been a difficult one. Lots of tempestuous times. Of the moon. I think I need to go get a little drink. It's getting kind of dry in here. Moon is acting really nice tonight, thanks to good weather. 9:10 p.m. Let's play some old jams for y'all while I take a little break. What's up, everybody? Oh. It should be coming back any second right now. Let's see. Hopefully you guys can see this shortly. I think I gotta go turn off the other computer. It's taking some power. Let's take it back. Back in a couple. I think we should be back up. Yeah, looks green. What's up, 22 people in the chat? How you doing? Thanks for hanging out. I don't know, I think I had Dropbox open, so I had to turn that off. Yeah, looks pretty full right now. So back at it. Let me know if it's working for y'all. Wires all over the place. Just mute this thing. There we go. All right. Back in the saddle. So yeah, so a little bit about the moon. At the very top, we got a couple of craters visible. That's Hercules and Atlas. Of course, Mare Crisium and Proclus. Terminator's cutting Mare Tranquillitatis in half. Right around Rima Litro. And what else we got? Of course, Sea of Serenity is in full shadow, but the area right under that is Mare Fecunditatis, that's what it is, right? And then on the rim of Mare Fecunditatis, Langrenus crater, and then all the way to the left, we got a few craters that I'll zoom into in a little bit. Hey, what's up there, Mary? How you doing? Hola, hola. Good to have all you here.
Stuck on you, don't go raising my rent. I can't fix
What's up, Awake? How you doing, bud? Gives way to the moon. We've got just finishing up this wide shot over here before I do some zooms. What's up there, Mike Rabel? Appreciate that. Try and make it as clear as possible. No junk on the screen. No stuff to detract from the majesty. Slow know I'm mumbling a little bit tonight. It's been a while. I've been this whole week like I really haven't jammed too much. So I'm just doing it pretty raw tonight. Live and raw. All right, Moon stopped recording. And I think it's starting to set just a little bit. So I'm going to take a little break from the guitar and let's do some zoomed in shots and I'll talk about it with the Atlas. Let me know if you have any... Actually, yeah, I'll just put something on in the background. Something chill. All right, lens switch up and I'll be back. So switched up the lens, got rid of the focal reducer, and yeah, I got some zoomed in shots for y'all. Let's do a little roundabout, little tour. Please feel free to ask me to repeat myself if you can't hear things clearly. I don't mind, I kind of go quickly sometimes. So for context, let's see where we are. Start all the way at the top. What's up there, your reality guru? How you doing? And I'm Drude. It says, when you get down to the start of the end, you're on a mystery trend, going high, high, going down. When you get down to the base of the brain, you're on to the mystery train. That's really good. Really good. All right, getting up here, passing up Messier A and D craters with the dual rays coming out. Voice is low, I know. Let's see what I can do about that. Is that a little bit better, I hope? Got Mare Crisium in full view coming up right here. I'm really trying to talk correctly into the mic, but it's one of those unidirectional mics, so I'm doing what I can. What's up there, Venus? How you doing? Let me know if it's a little bit better now. Something with the volume when it goes up too much, there's a lot of static, so trying to keep it as... Ooh, all right, Mare Crisium in view. And then we got Pierce and Picard craters, craterlets, actually. Yo, Mike says, been watching your channel. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks for stopping in and saying what's up. Appreciate the long-term sub. All right. I really like how Proclus crater right now, the little crater to the mouth of Mare Crisium, the bright one with the rays, kind of making a nice triangular formation with Pierce and Picard craterlets. Let's move north, check out let's see. And then here's Hercules and Atlas craters. Hercules is to the left, Atlas to the right. And that kind of larger crater to the right of that is Endymion. That is 126 kilometers across. And Hercules and Atlas are respectively, let's see, 70 and... Why aren't you letting me zoom? Yeah, there we go, 70 and 88 kilometers respectively. So you can hear a little bit of that static coming on in the background, but I think I'm a bit louder now, so that's good. So we got this nice view of this crater that we don't see very often in this relief called Cleomedes, which is right above, right like center of your screen right now, the big crater above Mare Crisium. What's up there, Martel Champagne? What's up? Did you get a view of the sun on the 8th through the 10th? About what was that strange shape in front of the sun? So I did some of that research yesterday after the show, and actually a lot of research. I just caught up on all the videos, and I found the article about the closing of the Sunspot observatory. It's a little bit strange, not totally though. Like a lot of things happen like that we don't hear about. It's just people instantly are on the alert for solar flares, probably because of the media frenzy about it. And so we'll see what happens there, but nobody really knows. I certainly have no idea, but it could be something entirely different. And then I looked at some of the solar stuff that people were talking about. It looks like the solar footage from a few days, the last couple of, let's say 48 hours, looks like it's totally normal, or whatever normal is considered. Just keeping this right around the south of Mare Crisium right now. This is Mare Indarum, the kind of tortured area. And you can also see Mare Marginis, that is right on the cusp of the edge. Those are also libration features. So I don't know if I caught what you're talking about on the 8th or the 10th, but I saw some of the footage. I feel like there was some people caught like either the comet approaching the sun or something with Soho, but I didn't see anything really of note. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah. So I wouldn't really worry about the sunspot stuff. It seems like there are a lot of people, a lot of amateur, not in a bad way, but just like independent people observing the sun. I feel like if there was anything really that we needed to worry about, people would talk about it. It seems like all those stories about the Sunspot Observatory were just really strange, just like Twitter clickbait stuff. That's just my take on it. Oh no, not normal. All right, let's keep rolling down here for a little bit and check out. I'm trying to match this up. So what happens is on the lunar atlas that I have, it kind of flattens out all the craters, so some of them don't look like they actually look in real life. So I'm just a lot of umming and ohing while I try and match it up. Let's get some tunes on behind me. Yeah, so there are other solar observatories that are still open. If you take a look at the Wikipedia page on all the solar observatories, it was one of the larger ones, but there is definitely a whole series of, I think GSR still runs, and that's the largest one. So I feel like there's nothing really to worry about. It's likely a local situation. What's up there, Jacqueline? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I think protocol is just to take things really seriously. So if there was like some sort of leak, like I think somebody was talking about a mercury leak, possibly, or maybe it was a security protocol issue. It's unlikely aliens or sunspots, in my opinion. But you know, I'm always open to things. It's kind of exciting, actually. Anything to do with space, I'm into listening to. Yo, what's up there, Kokabi? How you doing? ماشي الحال. Hope it's going well. That was a little transit birdie, I think, a little bird. Taking a look at Langrenus crater right now, to the south of Mare Fecunditatis. And just get a couple more over here. These little features kind of, let me find the name of this one. Down, 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 across the Terminator we go, across the Terminator we go. This is, why is it so difficult? Pico, is it Pico? Give me a moment, I'll try and figure this one out. Everybody chime in if y'all know. China spying, I don't know, man. It's just so strange. We got our scopes. We got our independent people doing solar work, so I feel like somebody would post a real video if there were a flare. So this is right around, all right, that makes sense. So the Terminator is cutting Mare Nectaris. This is what we got right here, and let me brighten it up a little bit. There we go. So Mare Nectaris, half in shadow. The large rim crater, like, almost looks like Sinus Iridum. That is Fracastorius, Fracastroius. And that's also a crater we haven't really looked at before. have I seen the infrared images around the sun of the last few days? I feel like the images that are being referred to are possibly that comet that passed recently near us, and so that was taken by the SOHO imager. And so when comets pass next to the sun, you definitely get some interaction. If you look back at Comet 21P, or what was the other one? I'm trying to think. Electric Universe talks about this, and they show comets whizzing by the sun, and you get these kind of coincidentally, which I feel probably are likely related, where you have these blasts of solar flares around comets or when comets near the sun. So possibly those are the anomalies that were pictured. I'm not exactly sure which, if there was anything like really relevant. Some of the videos that were referencing that looked like the new moon passing in front of the sun, which happens during a solar eclipse. So maybe misrepresented images. Yeah, so this crater that I was talking about, this rim one, is called Fracastorius on the rim of Mare Nectaris. And then as we go down along the terminator, you'll see one with a central peak that's bright white right now. That's Piccolo Mini. Isolated circular formation, about 88 kilometers with a central peak, kind of almost all in shadow at this point. Now underneath that, got another crater that I haven't mentioned before, Stiborius, Stibrius. Let's keep going down just a little bit more. Really great crater over here, another kind of look-alike to Posidonius and Gassendi, with a large crater formation with 2 or 3 craters inside it, along with a bunch of sinuous rills and central peaks. So this whole area is called Janssen crater, and the large crater to the top right of that, inside it's called Fabricius, or Fabricius, about 78 kilometers in diameter. You can also, you can see this great sinuous rill coming from Fabricius and hooking over to just kind of circular inlet. Really fascinating on how those are formed. Let's go down. We can see also a really nice detail on this area right here, which is, I want to say, possibly a libration area. And this is Lyot, Lyot, and Brisbane craters, kind of centered, little one to the bottom. Let's see what's going on in the chat. What's up? Not going to traveling around the moon. Oh, there was that whole SpaceX thing. I just don't understand any of that. I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it, honestly. I've been waiting so many years. Everybody always like, oh man, no, of course, they're definitely going to go to the moon this year. Definitely going to go to the moon this year. We'll see. I'm not a downer on it, but yeah, renders don't mean that you can really you can really take a spin around the moon just yet. They make it sound so easy, but we'll see. Yeah, this region looks like rock, but you know, I've been watching a bunch of ancient architects, and I've been watching a bunch of like extraneous and random Electric Universe videos, or I think the Electric View channel had a couple of good people on talking about how craters could be formed, and how you could melt these rocks and kind of create these blisters. And they were going around Google Earth checking out like relevant structures in different parts of the world that look almost like the craters that we see on the moon. So there's a bunch of research there that I kind of want to do, but I think it's I'm going to have to do that as a side project. But if anybody's interested, you should take a look at Google Earth, because the images are now like so high res, and you can really see some of these similar structures, these blister craters, craters on the rims, preferentially of other craters, mountains with flat tops, stretched rock, boiled rock, what looks like boiled rock, which is really interesting. Yo, what's up there, Frederick Skinner? How you doing? I'm gonna hit the wide shot real quick now that we've been deep for a second. Martel says, is there any telescopes besides NASA scopes that we can buy to see real close to the ground of the moon? So, you know, like it's one of those things you have to research and take a look at what is possible with each size telescope. So we're looking at the moon right now with an 8-inch telescope. And I have other videos where I show it with an 11-inch. And even with an 11 and 8, you can add like a 2x or 3x onto that to magnify. So you can get pretty close with the common telescopes, but there are definitely independent scope manufacturers that make, you know, like 30-inch, 40-inch, 50-inch scopes, you know, that range in the $20,000 to $100,000. Anything in the 14 to 20-inch range, you're going to see some unbelievable stuff on the moon. There are pictures from this observatory called Anjala. I'm going to link it in the chat. These guys have a 14-inch Celestron and I think a 16 or 17-inch refractor, and you can really see like what's possible. But again, you know, every scope you can stack images, you can double them. If you have a really great camera, that scope just becomes all the better. If you're in a dark sky, then it's all the better. So sometimes, even if you have a ton of magnification, if the sky is crap, then you're going to get a crap shot. Pulling up this Anjala observatory for y'all so you can see what's possible. And I'll also link you to what's possible for planetary research independently. That's Chameleon, and this cat, Damien Peach, is probably one of the best, if not the best, independent planetary imager. I mean, you know, he has fantastic images of the moon, but that's pretty easy for him. If you take a look at Damien's shots of Saturn and Jupiter, it's mind-blowing what's possible from Earth. Yo, 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 what's up there, Copper Tropicals? How you doing? Google Sky Infrared, all the interesting areas have been blocked. You know, this whole idea that like information is being blocked or manipulated is obvious. So I think when you look at that sort of stuff, if you kind of expect it to be manipulated and hidden, and then you won't really be surprised. There's really no reason for independent agencies and government to tell the people anything. As much as we want it, it's arguable. So that's why I do what I do, and a lot of people are doing that as well. They're taking the sky into their own backyard, to their own hands, and really learning. My entire perspective on space has changed simply by doing this work. I feel like, especially the regulars, have seen the progression and the way we talk about things now, and you'll see the theories that kind of fall by the wayside, and you'll see the science that sticks. And what really sticks is that we have a moon, and we have a sun, and all the other stuff is kind of up for debate. So really, like, even if it's tragic, even if there were a solar flare coming towards Earth right now, like, what is it? Not the Harrington effect. There's what is it? An ELE, an extinction level event, is what they call it. Yeah, if that's going to happen, then let's enjoy it. No reason to sit and worry about the future. What's up there, Mark Rowe? We talking about closures? Yeah, I was just mentioning that, one, I don't think it's a big deal. It just looks a little clickbaity to me and kind of maybe unrelated to space or anything, mostly security or possibly, somebody said mercury leaking. I saw that on the Suspicious Observers site. So possibly that. But I was also saying that even if a solar flare were coming to take out Earth, we should still be happy and just enjoy the last moments that we got. Take a look at this moon. Now, if the moon starts falling to Earth, then we really got a problem, but at least we'll get it on video. Sorry, I'm being a little flip, but whatever. It's looking great tonight. I'll grab myself a little cig. Oh, Harrington effect, right. There you go. Thank you, Harrington. The Kit Harington effect. Was that the event that happened? Wasn't there like a major solar blackout, like 1908 or something? I'm trying to remember the name of that. Hey, what's up there, cute cupcake? What's going on? So yeah, Sunspot Observatory, just keep an eye out for that, but you know, it's up to you as to whether you want to take it as seriously or not very seriously. And but yeah, I couldn't find anything that really blew my mind there. Let's see what else is going on in the chat. Hope everybody's good. I don't even know how many people are hanging out. Is it a lot? Is it a little? I don't know, but we got some moonage. That's all I know. And I don't know, maybe next week, I kind of have a computer here set up here, but I really want to do some M42 Orion nebula, so maybe next week I'll do that, little deep sky stuff. Your reality guru says, I want a heads up on this extinction so I can drop all this acid. Believe me, you will. Like in the media storm that we live in right now, like the Weather Channel is just waiting. It's just waiting for the biggest disaster possible. It's like, hope you didn't miss tons of people drowning and dying. So Weather Channel will be all over it. That's why I feel like, I don't know, things like that, they're not going to hide it from people. It's just going to happen. Yeah, YouTube can get your mind loco is the truth. You got to take it all with a grain of salt. I don't know if it was the Tunguska. That was in Russia, right? That was flattening the forest, the Tunguska experiment. Not experiment, but I feel like, well, maybe. Maybe it was some sort of like Space Force wave blast that did Tunguska, but likely it was, maybe it was an electromagnetic event, you know, similar like we were talking about with how crop circles may be formed with EM pulses. Cute. I'm good, thank you. A little tired, but just rolling into the weekend happily. Alive, or so I believe. Let's get back to the top of the moon. Moon is setting right now, so it's going to start getting a little chromatic-y, a little aberration, but we're hanging out over here. It's looking real pretty. I think it was the Carrington event, Copper, pretty sure. Yeah, they say it was a meteor, but I feel like what happens is kind of meteors come into the atmosphere and get torn up by the magnetic field, and by the time they actually hit Earth, it's almost like a shock wave as opposed to like a direct impact. I feel like something like that really coming at that speed and that impact would blow a hole like the size like we've never seen before. If you really look at like what I was saying earlier about the Google Earth images of craters on Earth, I mean, they're massive. Tunguska, while big, is not that big considering. Plus it could be like a pulse blast. Who knows? Bug out bags at the ready, indeed. Anon Drude, sorry, says history denied, holds the key. Plasma reversal is likely followed by soil liquefaction caused by monotonic wave and pressure loading. Bug out on nearest high bedrock pre-berry water. Oh, highest bedrock pre-berry water supplies. Yeah, well, I don't know about burying stuff, but definitely got some water. And I like the idea of soil liquefaction. That's what I think I was talking about that earlier about how looks like the moon kind of melted and bubbled over. So it looks like rock, but it looks like it was just like molten rock for just in these particular areas. Like you have the mares, of course, Marias that are large and kind of flattened out, but the blisters that we're looking at, like everywhere else on the moon, look like kind of like they were just blasted and kind of heated up and became blisters and exploded in the area. And let's see. There was this other thing. I was looking at some of the contemporary science or like popular science versions of impact craters because I always kind of beef up on that info. And you can really see what the problem is with impact craters is that they can create the formations that we see on the moon, but then we don't see the remnants of this this meteor like fractured and strewn all across the surface. So that's really the issue. Like if you take a look at like, you know, whatever 2 Minute Science or these guys who do these experiments on impacts, you'll see that the actual ball or sphere that they use to create the ballistics never explodes and shatters and just always kind of embeds itself at the center of the crater, and then you have this crater formation, but you don't see any of the relics. And so that's the real difference between some of these craters that we see on the moon that have no dust around, no fragments and fractures of rock, but they look like they were, you know, blasted out. So this is kind of the middle ground between electric zapping, electric arcing rather, and heating up the, what he said, soil liquefaction. Love that, great. Caused by monotonic wave and pressure loading. Also interesting, you know, I don't know if it's monotonic, maybe it's polyphonic. What's up there, Tom? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Go, whoa, smashing my face into the mic. Mark Rose says, let's just say everything we know or thought of is BS, lots of bullshit, and let's start streaming consciousness. I mean, I think we're sort of doing that. Like, I've talked about it a lot, but for me, this show is like a trifecta or quadrifecta of like talking to people and hanging out. We're also looking at space and doing, you know, lunar geology and astronomy. We're also listening to music and talking about music and appreciating it, and we're also talking about consciousness and elevating human species. So we're doing all of that. We're doing it live, and we're looking at space in real time, or as much in real time as possible. So a lot of those factors contribute to like what I think this show is about for me, and why I feel like, you know, it's not super duper popular, because it's one of these things that completely sidesteps what's going on in culture now, which is these anecdotal references to science, the kindergartification of science and making everything dumbed down, and 2-minute sound bites and bullshit like that. I think in order to really understand anything, you got to take some time. You got to realize, like, if you die, whatever, but on your way to death, you got a lot of work you can do. And so, you know, I've learned to calm down and kind of take it as it comes. So I feel like we are on the cutting edge of everything right now, streaming consciousness indeed. Hey, thanks, Mark. I appreciate that, my man. Hey, I appreciate all of y'all for, like, you know, the continued support and like hanging out all the time. You guys hang out for so long. I mean, even if you have it open in a tab, that's still cool. But I really sincerely appreciate that. Makes it worthwhile. All right, so we got our beautiful Luna, and I was listening, like I said, to this channel called The Electric View. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm going to link to it. They don't have a lot of subs right now, but go give them some love, because they got Andrew Hall, they got some of the good EU people, and they got that other kid who's doing, that other dude who's doing electric plasma discharge in the lab. Let's find it. And so they're just kind of hangout chats, but I kind of appreciate what they're doing. Let's see, why is it not coming up? There we go. Link incoming, y'all. All right, that's The Electric View. Show them some love if you like it. And same thing, I want to give you a link to Pierre-Marie Robitaille's channel. He's doing not enough videos, but really excellent content, like way over my head kind of, but you know, talk about somebody who really knows what they're doing. That channel's Sky Scholar. I'm just pulling that up as well. This guy has like 5,000 subs, it's ridiculous. Go and show Dr. Pierre-Marie some love. All right, that's my referral shit for tonight. That is it. Oh yeah. Oh, anyway, yeah, so they were talking about how a couple of things which were interesting, because I kind of subscribe to that theory that the moon was an orbit around the sun already, and they were mentioning that the Earth essentially came into the orbit of the moon, and then they started pulling on each other. And so it would explain why, the Earth is very different possibly from the moon. And there was another theory about how the Earth had its own rings, like Saturn, for example, and how the moon, once we came into the orbit of the moon and we started circling each other, that the moon knocked out Earth's rings, within recent memory of mankind, which is fascinating. So I like this idea that the moon was kind of just a separate body. It's almost like a sister orbiting planet to Earth, which is a completely different way of looking at the moon. For me, it's really interesting. I think the moon is so important, and it's talked about so stupidly sometimes. That's the only way I can think about it. It's just always like, oh, it was Cold War posturing, or blah, blah, blah. Like, there's nothing important, but now we know it's important because there's water. But the moon has always been important. And people who are in the know, if you really do the research, always thought the moon was important. It was never not important. Yeah, I also, Greg J. I should have linked that as well. I saw his stuff. I'm just getting into Greg J's stuff. It's a lot, but definitely interesting theories on the purple dawn of creation, about planetary capture. This is what's very important, because depending on whatever you think that space is, there's a fundamental reason we see it, and I feel like at the core of that is likely this electrical mesh, this three-dimensional mesh network. And we arise as humans, and planets arise and stars arise along these filamentary networks, like lymph nodes in our bodies. And so sometimes they go crazy and explode, and sometimes they last for a long time, and they create their own magnetic fields and radiation, and they fit within this magnetic filamentary matrix. I feel like that's sort of the fundamental core. If we approach things that way, then we can start asking the correct questions. Because it's not really like there are answers right now, but it's more that we're asking, what I feel, culture has been asking the wrong questions about space. It's always about some poetic platitude about how insignificant we are, or how it's a waste of space, or how we can't wait to find life, but we already have life, and we already have space. And there's a lot to question way before we even consider life on other planets. Although, if that happens, I'm very much open to that. It definitely could be possible that there's fake sky and tons of aliens and government spacecraft right outside this shield, and we can't see any of it. Maybe, but I think there's some crazier stuff going on even further than that, which is the fact that mankind already has incredible technology, which seems to me that looks like on the surface, that looks like alien technology, but it's likely mankind. Man, I'm talking a lot. What's up there? Do I see Jemima? No, that's Jacqueline. I thought Jemima Puddle Duck. I haven't seen her in a while. I don't know, you guys have any comments for me? Otherwise, I'm going to take a little break. I feel like my voice is starting to get a little raw. Mark Rose says, how can we ask correct questions when we've been lied to? Well, because I think ultimately, if you take the Buddhist philosophy tact, is it's important to be lied to so that you can question things and figure it out. If it's almost like Alan Watts says something great about salt and soup. He's like, a soup without any salt is pretty shit, but if you oversalt it, it's also pretty shit. So everything needs to be salted, and that's what lies are, and governments, and the whole influx of negativity is to boost positivity ultimately. And if you want really great things, you're going to have to pay for it with really shitty things. God, I'm saying shitty a lot. A lot of terrible things are going to have to happen in order for great things to occur. Otherwise, you can't see those great things. And I know it sounds kind of, I don't know, it's a little like people immediately are taken aback by the whole cliched new agey mentality, but it's really about like what really happens. You kind of wake up every day, you kind of do the same sort of thing, and life is more about the experience of life than it is about living and dying, right? What was it? Alan Watts again said something great about dancing, where you don't dance to finish the dance, you dance to dance. You dance to dance as well as possible and to do the art of it. You know, you don't run to the middle of the floor and you're like, okay, I'm done. So it's one of those things where the art of living is ultimately the answer. So whether you've been lied to or been told the truth or you know every answer or no answer, it's still ultimately how you perceive your life and the story. It's almost, you know, it's, and what happens is, I think, at least for me, is the more I accept the intrinsic nature of negativity and hatred and anger and all that stuff, you also learn to cope with it better. And after a while, it doesn't bother you. Like, it doesn't bother me that I'm being lied to. Okay. At this point, you know, you can sort of start getting past that and start realizing, well, you exist. Therefore, you have a lot of power already. And so I think it's really about the hotter the battle, the sweeter the victory, to quote Bob Marley. But yeah, I'm quoting a lot of good people, but they said it right. And it was so simple, but for all these years through my 20s, I just didn't get what they were talking about. I was like, well, you don't understand, but there's money and there's death, and you got to worry about that, and you got to plan for this. And ultimately what the Dalai Lama was going to say, was trying to say, and what all the Terence McKenna, they were just saying, no, it's about the human experience is the answer. There's no answer within the human experience that is itself the answer. Does that make sense? I hope not being all weird, but yeah, like Tom, you say it still bothers you. Yeah, you know, I think it's just practice, man. Like I was saying, you kind of have to get used to things. You know, when you're a kid and you're like, damn, mushrooms are gross, or olives are gross, or whatever. And then you grow up and you're like, oh no, olives are actually quite good. You've just developed a taste for it. And the same way you've developed a taste now for conspiracies and questioning things, you can do the same thing with accepting things and switching perspective. It's just a skill. It's not presented that way because we have this archetypal story that is continuously propagated in the media, in movies and books, which is the hero's journey. But it's not the only way to live. It really is the ultimate answer there. Is just like, because, not the ultimate answer, but for me, it's really not one way. There's always some new way. And when something new happens, you tend to look at that person and you're like, oh, damn, they figured out a new way. Oh, let me do that. So this idea that you can uphold traditionalism, but when a new way of thinking comes along, you should be able to be open to that and kind of, or one should be. But the other thing is that other people have different roles in this existence. You know, if it's really about a story, if you're spiritual and you feel like you're fatalistic, then maybe you have to do work in this life, and maybe it's unfairly negative this time around. And some people, it's unfairly positive. So that could be possible. I'm just going to light this cigarette, read some chat comments. Well, the moon is starting to dim. I feel it's getting down to the tree line at this point. Cheers to everyone. 10 o'clock. Weird is the new rational. Yep. Harmony says, there is no meaning to life that we don't make for ourselves. Mine is to try and make the world a more rational and caring place. That's a great thing, you know? And what's important about that is simply this notion that, you know, not everybody has to agree or believe what you believe in order for you to have this epiphany. You know, I feel like that's sort of where I come from. Like, I think ultimately, while I love sharing this, and I think it's important that I tell people what I think about the moon, for example, ultimately I'm doing this so that I believe things about the moon and so that I can learn things about the moon. Because If one can focus on their own betterment and, I guess, care, then there'll be people. Then you'll be somebody that other people will come to for help. But if you're in a constant state of chaos, if one is in a constant state of chaos, then you're not going to be one that is at peace with the rest of the world, because ultimately it's a reflection of every one of us. Oh, what's up, Globus Hystericus? The meaning of life is to simply be alive. I like that. Anon Druid says the universe is not going to turn its volume up. We have to turn our dissonance down, would be a start. Yep, that's also definitely viable. And it's up to everyone to choose the way they deal with this. You know, everybody is different. Some people just are really laissez-faire about life and they just go by and let things go on. And some people are empathetic and they feel all the pain that's going on in the world. So everybody is different. What's up there, Sovereign? Fist bump to you, brother. Prow, how you doing? Oh, did I get trolled tonight because I'm talking? I didn't even notice. What is it, negative some odd thumbs down, like that matters? It's so silly, you know, because this channel is just for the people who really get it. So who cares really about the trolls at this point? They also need to be there. A little bit of salt of the earth. Anon Druid says, I feel I will not be coming back. I don't understand. Is that to this channel or to the universe as a reincarnation? I'm not sure if I misunderstood you. Oh, and Duplicate, what's going on? Didn't see you there. How you doing? I think you were there earlier, but I thought I said hi, and maybe I didn't. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. No, don't melt. Okay. Yeah, so let's just stay here with the moon setting right now. It's going to be another 10 minutes or so, and I'll close it out with a little view of Saturn and Mars. We'll see how it's looking tonight. Yo, just reading up on some of these comments. What's up, Lord Putnam? Mark says, I want to just say you're still my favorite channel. Man, thank you. I really appreciate that. Like I said, it means a lot. You know, because Just a little group. We're just a little group of people, but we're paying attention. And that's what matters. Dance. Your reality guru, I hear that. Reality Guru says, don't forget it could be all simulation. Try some DMT once in your life. Yeah, that's still on the bucket list, that's for sure, at some point. Yeah, I don't think flat earthers are thumbsing down the channel. I feel it's like a couple of trolls, maybe, or a lot of trolls, who knows. Maybe they don't like that I don't believe in aliens. Aliens, I don't believe in you. Yeah, you know, my opinion about the shape of the Earth is really just, I don't have an opinion about it at this point. It's really hard to judge. You know, I was watching that cat, damn, what's his channel? He does all these great balloons, and he's been getting just much better at setting up balloons with GoPros. I forget the channel. But, you know, like, that's sort of the research, you know, you want to find out, send up some balloons, get some petitions going, get a telescope, you know, that's all we can really do. I don't really have a take on it at this point, because ultimately, if I would give flat Earth credence, I would probably have to give hollow Earth credence. I would probably have to give, like, hexagonal, octagonal, you know, there are all these different amazing concepts. I even saw this one where it looks like we're in a hamster wheel type of thing, so Earth is like a Mobius strip of some sort. That's really interesting to me. Maybe it's like a ribbon, and you know, we perceive light in 3 dimensions, but maybe everything is two-dimensionally flat. Who knows? I'm open to anything, you know, but I don't want to be antagonistic towards anyone. I think there's, like, I don't know about aliens, you know, because it's just like this weird energy around it where, like, the people that apparently, you know, quote unquote lie, also want aliens to be a thing. So I always take that with a grain of salt. I'm like, I'm not really so sure about that. Especially because all the cats we used to follow, I don't know if you guys did that same research, but like Stephen Greer and Wilcock and Graham Hancock and all the ancient aliens guys, man, that is such a waste of time. I can't believe like how many hours I spent like really considering there was something going on. But I would recommend the Ancient Architects YouTube channel, where this guy is talking about some great stuff, doing some real independent research. Let's see, yeah, heavy bot trolls probably. Vision says, what if we are on the inside and everything we know is inside with us? That's possible, you know, maybe we're just looking outside and that's what the outside really is, and we just are confused, you know. But at the same time, I also believe that we carry around memories and life force with us in a magnetic bubble of sorts around the body, you know, oscillating from the heart chakra and creating essentially this onion skin layering of memories and experiences and life, essentially life force. And this is really what collapses when you die. When you talk to people who, or at least the idea of your life flashing before your eyes, to me, in a physical sense, if your magnetic bubble collapses, then all these thoughts and memories come washing back to you very quickly as the heart oscillation stops. And so there's this idea that there is a three-dimensional sort of space to it, but really consciousness is up for grabs at this point in terms of what it really is and why it is. Yo, what's up there, crazy, funny cats? How you doing? What it do? How you doing? Yeah, everybody hit that thumbs up. I appreciate it. Don't worry about the thumbs down, whatever. Don't bother me none. And Druid says, I don't know what shape it is, so I do not pretend I do. So I do not pretend I do have zero tolerance for liars. You know, so I just want to make a note about that. You know, like I was saying about salting things, like the idea is that we're all kind of a little bit rotten at this, you know, at the same time as we all want to think we're really good. You know, it would suck to just be only good. So every one of us is ultimately a little bit of a scoundrel and has told a lie or two. And, you know, the zero tolerance idea, like you wouldn't want somebody to do the same to you. What if you ended up being in a scenario? So I feel like keep an open mind. You know, you never know what people are going through. And you want to be able to, you know, talk to people and have them help you when you're going through some stuff. So I don't know this idea of zero tolerance, but I do understand the kind of, like for me, I'm not saying that I believe that stuff. I'm saying that I avoid it, but I let it be avoided. I don't keep on worrying whether it's trying to screw with me. You know, I don't want to deal with it, so I don't look at Twitter stuff and I don't watch videos that irritate me anymore. And it's much nicer that way, actually, as opposed to watching stuff that you hate and kind of reacting, because that's so, like, you can do it, but it doesn't really help. At least in my case, I feel like doing stuff and making stuff is better than watching stuff that bothers me. Although, you know, hate watching is a big deal, and social media is a place for people to express themselves, and it just all needs to be taken a little more lightly, I think. What's going on? We've got a full chat. Let me know what you guys think of what I'm talking about. I'm just rambling a bit here, but I feel like I'm also getting a bit sleepy too. Gosh, when I talk so much, my brain starts vibrating hard, and I maybe it's just my tinnitus. Yeah, Tom, I mean, people like NDT and Bill Nye are not people we should be following, you know? Who cares what they think, ultimately? Not gonna lie, like, I have talk about zero tolerance, those are the people I have zero tolerance for. Not because they're liars, but because, you know, they could be liars, but really it's because they're out for their interest, and they're not out for the interest of science. And so for me, it's much more about, you know, what I really find important. Bill Nye never talks about what I find important, nor does Neil deGrasse or Joe Rogan or any of these people. They always talk about some inane version of what I'm interested in. Just the weirdest and worst and baser human instinct, you know, judgment and antagonism. And they mask it in New Age bullshit philosophy, but they don't really know what's going on, in my opinion. I like this notion that I've heard about the fact that, like, humans are essentially like tubes with teeth at one end, you know, and we digest the universe and we pass the universe through us in terms of processing, and then we output it in either vibration, well, mostly vibration, but in voice or in thought. And so we're these kind of little mini vacuums. In fact, if there was any idea of a black hole, we would be the black holes, really, because we are sucking in the ether information, consciousness, and then excreting it, essentially. Excuse my language. And there goes the moon. I think that's it for me, guys. I'm a little fried, to be honest. That's what happens when I talk. But it's been an excellent show, and I hope to see all of y'all tomorrow if it's clear. Hope you enjoyed the little chat and a bit of the moon. I was gonna do Saturn and Mars, but I don't know, I think I need a little break. So let's take this out to a song right here called Trying to Forgive. You know, this song I essentially wrote about this whole thing, you know, like the government is something you have to forgive and just allow to exist in its most radical and effed up form. And then the crazier it is, the better things are going to be. And that's a really weird way of looking at it, but maybe you just think on that for a little bit, and we'll talk about it soon, everybody. Thanks again, all, and hope you have a great rest of your night. Peace.
Ask those outrageous questions.